We was going to postpone some of these ideas until a little bit later on, but because of recent news, this has been an interesting period in my life, and I wasn't going to really speak on it just yet. You wanted to absorb this whole, absorb everything first. First try to receive the incoming before speaking or articulating or even going into anything really, as they would say, deep. Not even getting into that just yet. First of all, me, myself, I personally lost my earthly father. Passed away on May 20th of this year. He was 73 years old. Michael Jackson, he has been reported to have passed away on June 25th. And he was 50 years old. Seems as though the pronouncement of the cause is very much similar to what they pronounce arterial cardiovascular disease for my earthly father. So I'm still in that period of still a little less than 40 days. So it's this time of what we call tezkar within the Ethiopian and the Ethiopic, the Hebrew culture, our divine heritage. When one passes away, there's a time of what is usually called in the West mourning, but it's not so much a mourning in that sense. Tezkar means a remembrance, so it's not so much mourning, but a memorial. So I'm still in that time where I'm allowing thoughts and feelings and memories to freely flow in a spirit and the truth of the person in the sight of God and Christ and the good. So, and looking at the good, the bad, looking at everything, but allowing this to be a time of remembrance or a time of memorial. So 40 days, this is my culture and tradition as Ethiopian Hebrew. So it's called tezkar. But a little earlier today, my earthly mother, she informed me that, did you hear the news? I said, what's up? Because like I said, my father, earthly father, passed away a little more than 36 days now. So when I heard this news of Michael Jackson, when she expressed to me that Michael Jackson has died, I was like, whoa, you think about it, but then it's something in you tells you that, that even though he's Michael Jackson, speaking of Michael Jackson, this is some of my summary thoughts. I want to do a little bit more on it because as I've been meditating this whole experience, other ideas has been coming forward. But I said, I just want to express some basic thoughts about Michael Jackson. These rumors, many rumors. One of the rumors that they don't talk about so much in the media about Michael Jackson, besides the so-called alleged pedophilia, and we haven't been provided any information. It's just like, what do you think if a child or a boy shares a man's bed? Isn't there something wrong with it? And see, a lot of this has gone on, and you got a lot of them jokers and comedians out there that should be ashamed of themselves, really. Not so much because they so-called made their comedy and made their punchline or the butt of their jokes Michael Jackson, but when you really think about what is really at stake in a human being's, in a person's life, when you really start to, observe it, a lot of us, speaking generally, but the media and those invested in making money and news and rumors and scandals and stories, and to keep their media machine, to keep their illusion and delusion of people going on. You understand? Michael Jackson was right. He was absolutely right. And I wanted to entitle a clip on the YouTube just to start the ball rolling on this, that they've killed Michael Jackson. They've killed Michael Jackson. Now, I'm not talking about conspiracy. You know, people talking about, oh, what do you mean? There's a conspiracy with this and that, and already we're beginning to see the, you know, the various different angles of it that men and people are beginning to formulate to try to say, yeah, this was a conspiracy among this people, or maybe it was the pharmaceuticals, or his father had come over, or maybe it was Paul McCartney because, you know, the Beatles, and he was broke, but he had the rights to the Beatles, and maybe it's because of that, or maybe somebody didn't want him to do 50 concerts in London, or because somebody wanted his money, or the children, they just exposed the children recently. You know, we've just gotten a couple days ago, got to see pictures of the children as they are, his children, who when they were younger, they were wearing these masks and these veils, and people say, oh, that's strange, and using these kind of name calling. You know, they said bullying, cyberbullying is bad, but Michael Jackson, he was not just cyberbullied. He was also the paparazzi stalked him because he was like food for them. You understand? And when they took a picture, they got some goofy kind of crazy story along with a picture, something like that. They could make money off of that. So Michael Jackson, in that sense, was a cash cow in a sense, or he became from a bronze, you understand? From a bronze boy, he became like a golden kind of calf for this whole media industry. So I think it's necessary that now that is said and done, and now that it appears that, you know, he's gone too, Michael Jackson dead at 50, someone needs to say that they killed him. And we all in some way, more or less, are responsible, because just think back a couple of months ago, years ago, and some people still are popping this jazz about, oh, he did that. I know he did that because you don't do that. And, you know, you can't just, you know, he has some sexual intercourse or pedophilia. You hear these rumors and everything. And even though Michael Jackson repeatedly, you know, approached the media, tried to put his story out there, and there was no evidence that was presented to anyone, only circumstantial evidence, only what people think, only their own, the evil natures that allowed everybody to say, yeah, he did this. I know he did, like the comedians, a lot of the nigger comedians, the black comedians have been using him to make food, to make Burger King and McDonald's meals, Happy Meals for themselves, make money off of making Michael Jackson the butt of the joke, all while at the same time saying, yo, he's mad talented. You know, his music is the music of our lives, and we grew up on him, and his music expressed our lives. But yet, you so easily betrayed, denied, and even crucified the man, even denied, betrayed, and crucified Michael Jackson, all on the basis of some pseudo circumstantial kind of rumors and innuendos and everything else, even though he repeatedly, I was checking out, you know, repeatedly tried to present his innocence and allowed himself to be questioned. Even by Barbara Walters was talking like, well, you know, you are somewhat eccentric and this and that. Don't you think this gives the paparazzi a right or a reason to do what they do? Like almost saying, aren't you calling this on yourselves and everything? You got all this money and this and that, and so people are curious and interested because you're so weird and doing the wacko jacko. You know, wacko jacko, some stuff out of Star, or what they call that thing. You want a Rupert Murdoch's kind of trash heap, kind of ledger, these kind of little paparazzi magazines that basically drove Michael Jackson most likely, based on the evidence, to an early grave. This is why we wanted to entitle this whole thought, this whole idea, this whole consciousness that they've killed Michael Jackson. And in a sense, we all more or less either contributed to it or just stood on the sidelines and saying, oh, he got money, so therefore, because he got money, you know, even though we know how he got that money, many of us contributed to that money he got, because many of us at one time or another, because of one song or another, was his fans. But then as soon as these rumors came up, it reminds me of what Barana Selassie, who the world knows as Robert Nesta Marley, or even better as Bob Marley, something he said in one of his songs. Bob Marley said this. He sung it, and he said that, you know, they always know how they can reach us. They know how they can reach us. You understand? They know how they can reach us, the system, the matrix, mystery, Babylon. You understand? They know how they can reach us. They start to release these so-called rumors and everything. They look at the crowd, the silly people, the useless eaters. You understand? And even though they love you one moment, they hate you the next. And now that he's dead, now they're going to say, oh, Michael Jackson, we love you, such and so forth and so on. But they all contribute. He was crying out for help. He was crying out just to be heard. You understand? He wasn't denying, oh, yeah, okay, his face, his looks, whatever like that, so forth and so on, whatever you want to think about that, so forth and so on. But he's saying, listen, even though I'm a so-called celebrity or star, I don't have no sort of even privacy. They want to see my children. People say, oh, it's weird how he had his children with masks and everything else like that. You know how much money they wanted to make off of taking pictures of his children? Because